Rich Tehrani here with TMC. Thanks for watching. We're at Cloud Expo 2012 at the Jacob Javits Center in Manhattan. On our program is Uri Mishol. He is with IncrediBuild. He is the co-founder and the chairman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi.
So tell me a little bit about your company.
Well, we're here to present IncrediBuild XGE, which is a platform for accelerating highly computational processes such as simulations, analysis, using private clouds and public clouds.
So who are some of the typical customers?
Well, typical customers would be software vendors with time-intensive simulations, analysis in engineering fields, CAD, CAM, finances, energy, health. Typically any software vendor with computational processes that takes in the range of hours to days even, wishing to accelerate that process and do that in a very, very cost-effective way.
So could you be a little more specific in terms of maybe some of the savings, when you say cost-effective, of time and or money that you can bring to these customers?
Sure. So one of our recent customers, Manitoba Research Institute, that's a Canadian-based company specializing in energy simulations, had processes that took typically days to execute. And they had the option of adding performance by throwing in expensive hardware site-wide or moving into the public cloud. And what they did was integrate IncrediBuild XGE into their product so that instead of using dedicated hardware, the product now taps into unutilized CPUs in existing PCs in the local network, in their organization. So end user workstations are now contributing to the total computing power of the processes that are being run, and the result is a 20 times, 30 times faster process without having to add any dedicated hardware. And one of the best things that they got out of integrating XGE was that the integration didn't require them to change any of their code in the application, and that's part of the things which are really special about what we're showing here.
So it's interesting, a company called QNX did something similar in the 90s, and I don't think their implementation worked that well. Maybe the processors didn't have the power, or maybe there was too much overhead. Are you familiar with that company?
I'm not sure about what happened with QNX, but what's special about our approach is that we can take existing applications and allow you to ship portions of the application code, the existing application code, and have that run through our virtualization technology as is on any machine connected to the network without having to worry about what's installed on that machine. So basically, your PC, while you're typing away on Microsoft Word, for example, and I don't know, you're using 5% maybe of your computing power, could be utilizing its available computing resource to accelerate whatever I'm running on my server or PC.
And so there's a virtual machine on these different PCs in the organization?
It's actually our own virtualization technology, what we call process level virtualization running, and that's done completely behind the scene and dynamically, so you don't need to install anything on your PC other than the XGE client software.
So I would imagine that a typical customer would ask you about the communications overhead. Oh, what happens with the communications overhead? You're going to flood my server with inter-process communications, and how is that going to work?
Right, so we've taken a lot of effort to optimize that. I think probably one of the areas where we've invested the most effort so far. XGE does very intelligent caching behind the scenes, utilizes real-time compression of the network and some peer-to-peer technologies, and the result is that in the vast majority of cases, overhead is almost a non-issue except in extremely large data scenarios. So we do focus on CPU-bound rather than data-bound processes. This is our focus, but even when large data is involved, usually the end result is fantastic.
So it would appear to me that for any organization that has a large amount of computers in their company that are using a small amount of the CPU, which is most companies, unless there's a lot of advanced graphics going on in those organizations, let's say movie production studios, things like that, where they're using these workstations that are, killing quad cores and 8-core CPUs. Any other scenario, you're talking about a potential huge benefit, right?
Yeah, I think the potential here is huge. Today we're focusing on software vendors who are developing and selling applications which have a very highly computational component running. And we're partnering with these partners on an OEM basis or other different types of cooperation to integrate our technology into their products in order to offer their end users a better experience. That's our focus today.
Now, what's next for the company?
Well, this is obviously the primary focus today. There are a lot of paths to go from there. IT is one of the future directions we're looking into, sort of a broader platform for taking advantage of the technology and finding other ways to take advantage of the acceleration. Another field where we're very involved in is development time process acceleration. With IncrediBuild, for the past 10 years, we've been accelerating code builds and asset builds in a variety of industries. Gaming is one of the larger ones where there's a huge amount of development time, very time-intensive asset generation going on, and we're helping actually most of the studios worldwide today accelerating these processes as well. So we're quite busy.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.